Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of the Smashing Skull Sessions. This week I'm joined by Jean-Sébastien from WHERE MERMAIDS DROWN. I would consider myself a friend because we've been in contact for so long, and we actually met very briefly at Dunkfest, which was an amazing experience as well. But I also want to touch on a few other things with Jean because he's involved in many things really, but POST.LYON, which is a big deal. We want to touch on that and get some feedback from you on how it's going and everything else. And on top of that, I know you kicked off with another an agency of your own, THISWILL. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. Is that fair enough?
Perfect.
Happy with that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Great stuff. So anyway, first off...
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, come here. Thanks for coming on the show because it's been a few months. I've been trying to get hold of you. We kept crossing paths, but finally we got there. Now, tell me, we'll kick off where Mermaids Drown because I remember maybe a year ago writing a review of that album and The Raging Winds Do Blow. Incredible stuff. You know, it's hugely emotive, dramatic post-rock if anyone is unaware of it. It's just one of those things you have to go to Bandcamp and have to check it out. So, Jean, tell me how it came about. Like, where did the band start from, we say, to begin with?
The band start first, thank you for all those kind words. It was a bless for us to have so many good feedbacks after the release of this first album, EP. I don't know how to say that because it's kind of long, 3 tracks for more than 30 minutes. So it's kind of, I don't know. But the band started after I had a previous band with my bassist called Cloud Shelter. And it was it was complicated because we always had some trouble with guitar players. It was very complicated to build the band, and we try harder, and at some point we just separate the band. And I had this anger to really, I really wanted to succeed with a band, you know. So I just continued to search some guitarist player, and I just put like I have a huge network thanks to POST.LYON. I just post something on my profile on Facebook, and then the first guitarist, Pierrick, came back to me and we talked, and it works very well, very quickly. He played in a band I booked a few times, so it was we already had the connection. And then after I love guitars in post rock. For us, it was at the beginning we tried to compose things only with guitar, bass, and me at the drums. And for me, the perfect band should be with maybe 3 guitarists, but it's more people, it's more complicated. But we were looking for a new guitarist, and I just asked for Antonello, a guitarist in another band I booked a lot, and he said, okay, let's try. And very quickly, it was very natural between all of us, and it's get better and better in that way. So that was the start of the story, and after that we worked a lot, and we just very we really wanted to have something to share as soon as possible, so we could record the album maybe after less than 2 years together. We recorded it at home, and we released it. It was kind of complicated because all the mix mastering was made by Jason of Coastlands, a good friend of mine, and it was at the same moment of the start of the pandemic. So at the beginning, we just said to Jason, take your time. The pandemic will be probably just for 1 month, and we all know the story. After that, it was longer than expected, so we decided to release it during the pandemic with no expectation. It's not the best time for many bands to release music, but finally it works well for us.
Maybe maybe for your mental state, it's probably a good time to do something, is it? You know, because everybody is just sitting around wondering if they will ever get to play live. So you may as well dip into some recording and some writing.
At some point, I think it depends of the band. I think we're kind of good concerning the communication. You know, we try to and for other band, I know that release some music during the pandemic, but don't doing a good promoting online or everything. It was more complicated. So I think it's one of strong aspect of the band, because I'm kind of in charge of many things, because I'm really push a lot to, you know, we don't do a lot of promoting online, but just contact the good people at the good moment, and it helps us a lot, I think, to have a good response, because at the beginning, you know, you just release music, and when you have at least one or two people that say that it's cool, it's very, very good, because it's job done. But finally we sold a lot of records all over Europe, and it's kind of crazy sometimes to just go to the at the post, you know, the post station in France, and just send things to, you know, I don't know, Singapore, States, and all countries in Europe. And it's kind of crazy that people just discover our music. So it's very cool.
It's amazing, isn't it? Such a small community in the whole post-rock genre, but yet, as we spoke on previous podcasts, it's worldwide. Like, you speak of Singapore, they're posting to Singapore. I mean, and you've the States, and you've every continent, basically. Like, it must be great. It must be a great feeling, like, to have your music being played in these places. Like, you're sitting at home in Leon, like, and over in Singapore, someone's listening to the album, you know?
Yeah. As a promoter with POST.LYON, I can rely on it, because it's kind of weird, because it's, you know, post-rock is a niche in a niche in a niche. It's very small community, but at least you can rely on a community. If we had a band maybe playing, I don't know, pop rock, it's more popular genre, but you're kind of drawn in the middle of too many bands. There is a lot of bands in post-rock music, but the community is very recognizable, I guess. So it's kind of easier to contact, even if you want to do a tour with the band. I think it's easier because there is association, or I don't know, promoters in many cities that can help you if you are into that specific genre of music. I think it's sometimes in more popular genre, it could be more complicated. There is many aspects of that, but the post-rock community, I think, I don't know if everyone knows everyone, but there is people you have to know in the post-rock community. Jason is a part of them, the guys from the Dunk, you are, and there is so many people, the guys from Where Post-Rock Dwells, Ronnie too.
Exactly.
And the community is not that big finally, and it's easy to know everyone, at least.
Exactly. I mean, it's a network of people, isn't it, across the world? Like, as you mentioned, like, even the guys you just rattled off, Jason from the States, like, you've Ronnie there, Where Post-Rock Dwells, who does incredible work, like, you know. I personally think post-rock has grown in the last maybe 5-10 years, because I'm only listening to post-rock for maybe 10 years. Do you see it growing in popularity? Or is it a case of it's always been there, but no, I'm finally digging into it?
I don't know if there is. I don't think I listened to post-rock for many, many years, but at the beginning, I don't even realize I was listening to post-rock, because I discovered post-rock with Sigur Rós, band from Iceland, and then I just, because I was curious, I just go online and just search bands similar than, you know, we all did that with Last FM. I don't know, all those websites that can help us, and I discovered many bands, and I keep digging, finding many bands, but I don't really know if the post-rock is growing. Maybe the community is growing, but I don't think that the post rock is gonna be the trend at some point. Like I used to say, a lot of people love post rock. They just don't know it because you can listen a lot of music in the movie. It's usually kind of similar of post rock music because it's mostly instrumental, but people don't rely with the genre to they don't put the name on it. So when you talk about post rock to people that don't know it, what is post rock? Why post rock? So I don't know if it grows, but
it becomes a very hard thing to
usually
explain.
I just explain that. Yeah, you have to. Usually, I just say it's mostly instrumental and it's like soundtrack in a movie, but it's kind of complicated to explain. But I don't think people can really without any lyrics. I think a lot of people are kind of lost listening to music when you're not into that kind of music. So I don't know. Maybe at some point there is. Now we can. There is bands like Olifone, for example, that mix post rock with shoegaze. That maybe that will be the bound between our community to maybe something bigger. But there is no more big band in post rock. Finally, if you remove Explosion in the Sky, Caspian. Finally, the Mogwai, all those bands are just very known because they were the first bands to play that kind of music. But there is not much bands that take that kind of size. I guess now the seats are taken. I think. So it's kind of complicated to have many other bands.
Are we at a stage where people are experimenting more with post rock, crossing genres, going, as you said, like you talk about shoegaze there, like there's post hardcore being mixed with post rock. You've got, as I, again, speaking to other guys, like no one wants to constantly pigeonhole their music or their sound, to just specifically post rock. I mean, you ask a lot of bands who would consider post rock, where do you stand on how, if you were to explain to somebody, what do you play? It's one of those things, it just seems to be developing all the time, I think. New bands are coming, young bands, great ideas, and the technology is there now, isn't it? To play around with stuff.
Yeah, but at the same point, it's kind of, we are with the band, with Where Mermaids Drown. I have to be honest, I don't think we don't make revolutionary post-rock. Honestly, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of very typical post-rock, but it's not a bad thing. We just maybe not good enough to create very surprising things like maybe other bands, or I don't know. But for me, it's just a feeling. If a band plays something very, not simple, but very typical in post-rock, but that the music touch me in any way, for me, it's good. You can do something very revolutionary, very creative maybe, but if at some point there is no emotion in it, for me, it's not good. Even if maybe technically it's way better, but it depends of people. People love maybe some, I think some people prefer very technical things, very new things. And for me, it's kind of just hear something that touch me in a way, I don't know. And it's kind of complicated for post rock. And I see as a promoter that it's a lot of work, to have an audience for that kind of music. In Lyon, we worked a lot to, we are lucky because we have a lot of post rock or post anything band in Lyon. So people discover the genre thanks to these bands. But it's kind of complicated, and we are a big city. And now for the shows, we have, I think we can arrive at 60, 100 maximum people per show, and it's way not enough to pay the band well. So, and even if you watch Duhig Festival, that is maybe the most popular festival in Europe for that kind of music. It's the big festival in Europe, and it's barely maybe 700, 1,000 people per day.
Exactly.
So it's a lot, of course, but it's not that much if you compare I take the total opposite, but you take the Hellfest in France, it's it's 60,000 of people per day. So there is a lot of things to work. But I think it's the work of Dunk Festival, of Arctangent, maybe of other festival like Colossal Weekend, of many promoters like us, like in Paris with Post in Paris too. All those small works finally help the community to grow, but I think it's never going to be popular because it's not the trend. That's a fact. I think if you want to earn money playing that kind of music, it's kind of no. I think you can. There is some bands that succeed to that, but it's very, very complicated because it's very closed. Like there is, if you have a singer, maybe you can try. You have to have a singer.
I wonder, even just for yourselves, with the album you brought out and the Raging Winds Do Blow, can I ask this? Like, did you lose money on that, or was it? How's it worked out for you?
No.
You're on your third press at the moment, I think, aren't you, vinyl wise?
So to be very clear, the making of the album cost nothing because we did everything ourselves. We just paid Jason for the mix and mastering, and he was more than very nice with us concerning the price.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm kind of a businessman. It's not for many bands. It's kind of talking money. It's kind of something you have to be ashamed of. But no, you have to think about the. I saw too many bands doesn't think about this money aspect, and you don't earn money selling CDs. Yeah, you earn money selling CDs, of course, at some point, but you have to think about selling shirts. You have to think about selling. Now it's the trend of the cassettes. So at the beginning, we just say, okay, just pay for a few T-shirts because we can't play a show without having anything to sell. Once again, too many bands come to shows and just have one CD to sell, but nothing else. And a lot of people just want to help. Finally, they just buy things because they love your music. And it's the best way because it's not with Spotify and everything that you're going to earn money. So we just pay for a few CDs, few T-shirts, and the vinyl wasn't on the table because it was too expensive and we didn't know what to expect of the release. If you pay more than €1,000 to make some vinyls but you don't sell it, then it's kind of complicated. And finally, we had this guy Mane from Copenhagen. The guy run this it's kind of it's now a label now, vinyl record label called Vinyl Trollden. And the guy just sent us a message because he just listened to our music on WHERE Post-Rock Duels channel on YouTube, and he liked it and said, okay, I can give you €700 to make the record. I just take the half to sell them in Denmark. You keep the other half. So for us, it was the opportunity to make this on record. And we were very lucky to meet the guy, and we met him on our previous tour. He came to a show in Germany. This guy is just the best. It's a very nice guy. Just I don't know how he did because it's kind of weird to have. He just sent me a message at the beginning. I thought it was a joke. Because giving €700 to a band that no one knows, it's kind of weird. But no, I saw he worked to the band Nordsind. You have stickers behind you.
Yes, I have Nordsind.
Yeah, he released their album. So that's what the beginning. That was the beginning. Buying all this small stuff and like I said, we had a very warm response with the album. So finally, we sold, after more than a year now, we sold all the CDs. It's more 150 CDs. We sold more than 100 of T-shirts. We sold more than 200, almost 200, or maybe a little bit less, or more than 100 of vinyl records. and it works very well finally, because it all that money allow us to work on that new material that we should release I think next year.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. It's complicated to say you earn money, because for me, when you earn money, it's when you take the money for you for living at some point.
Yeah.
Not just invest the money you earn from sales and just invest in a project. It's earning money at some point, but we have this goal to work maybe differently on the next release, and maybe try to do things more professionally in France. We have some helps that can help us to pay for some fees. So I'd love to at some points maybe earn a little bit of money of that, because it takes a lot of time to play music. You have all the rehearsal, all the gigs and everything. And for many people, they don't realize all the work a band
puts into it. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a lot of work to produce music, to go to think about all the aspect of the the cover. It's a lot of work on many aspects. So yeah, at some point it's normal to at least try to don't lose money on it.
You see, this is it. It's one of those things that people don't seem to like talking about within this industry, like, money, because it's all about the love of the music. And I get that. But there is no point a band putting in whatever on top of working and having a family, putting in 30, 40 hours a week into the band and costing money at the same time. It's the love would soon run out of it, at least when you're investing what you've made from the first album, bringing it into the second album, the energy is still there, the love of it all is still there. So I don't see any reason why you can't discuss money and discuss how much it costs to run a band.
But like you said, and I think even more in France, money is kind of a hot topic you don't want to talk about, and even more if your band is bigger, I guess. But I host a lot of bands. I used to ask how much they win, just to understand how it works finally, because it's kind of a weird industry. Everything is hidden. You can really know. I'm very curious of it's weird, but I'm curious about how much money a band like maybe Caspian really earn finally. If are they living from this? I'm not sure, but and it's kind of a huge band finally. So we try new things. Finally, we are lucky enough that my girlfriend is kind of a creative woman, so she made like my t-shirt. I don't know if you see embroidery. I don't know how to say that in English.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Embroidery. Yeah.
And it's all homemade. And finally, we made 20, a little bit more than 20 t-shirts for the tour. We sold them 25 euros per pieces, and we were sold out after maybe 5-6 gigs. So there is many. You have to think. I think a lot of them need to think about new things to sell, because finally people they're gonna pay the tickets. That's cool, but if they like your music, they're gonna buy many things, because it's I don't buy CDs because for me it's ugly, but I can buy vinyls for 30 or 35 euros because the object is good, it's beautiful, and finally it's the best way to help the bands, because Bandcamp is a good way too, because they don't take a lot of fees, but at the end you have PayPal fees, you have Bandcamp fees, so it's the best way online actually, but the best way is to go to the shows, go see the bands, and buy maybe just a t-shirt or CDs or whatever you want. But it's the best way to help bands.
Exactly.
Honestly.
I think the merchandise is a big thing for the bands and for the people who go to see the bands. I'd be a big merchandise fan. I can't go to a gig without buying maybe, I don't know, I'll definitely buy a t-shirt. I'll try and buy a vinyl. And it's not because I feel I have to, it's because I want to, you know what I mean? I think that's the great thing with this group of people that we're in. Like, everyone wants to help everybody out, and you're getting something for it. You're getting a cool t-shirt. You're getting a great piece of art in an album or on a t-shirt. So it's a win-win for everybody. But like you said, every band has to do it if they want to survive in any way. Don't they? Merchandise is a necessity.
Yeah, and try to be creative. There is many bands that create new things now, and if it works, honestly, you can sell anything, many different things, and people like it usually. The option on the table. If you don't like CDs, you have the record. If you not record, you have, because it's kind of old things. You have the cassettes now, and there is the posters, and I don't know. There is many things, and you have to think about it because it costs money to create new merch. But I think at the end it's the best way to earn money, because without this, for us, for example, during our last tour, we earned a lot of money thanks to the merchandising. We don't lose money with the fees we had during the tour. But we earn a lot of money thanks to the merch of course.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. It is.
Yeah.
Just going back to the album. So, as I said, I'm a huge fan of it, and as I said, it's been everybody that I've spoken to fell in love with the album as well. How long were you working on it? Was it something that was always there, Jean? Was it an idea in your head, or was it something that when you all got together, it created itself?
For this, it's a mix between all of that, because now we work more together. We love to just jam together. We have a lot of gear in our room, and we can record everything we play. So usually we just jam, and we take some parts we liked, but for this first album, we have 2 songs. For maybe 3 of them came from an idea of one of my guitarists. At least a large part of the structure of the tracks, and we all work together on that to make that happen, like you heard. And we didn't thought a lot about what we were doing. We just wanted to have some tracks that we loved to play, and that was the beginning. And I have to say that now we almost finished all the new tracks for the new record, but it's going to be totally different, because we don't have, the first album was 3 songs of almost 10 minutes each. And it's not going to be like that for the upcoming one. It's more like songs that 5-6 minutes, maybe 8. I think we have one track that made almost 12 minutes, but just one. But it's kind of, I think we did differently now, because we have an objective. We thought we have kind of a theme for the album. And I have to say that for the first one, everything was kind of like in a rush at the end. We had the track, we record them, but at this time we didn't have even the name of the songs, even a theme, even the name of the album. And it was kind of rush at the end, because we didn't have the cover, and it was kind of, for me, it was too messy but finally it ended well. But for this one, we took the thing in the opposite. We thought about what we want to tell in the album, and write the song to help the theme of the album. So
there's a lot to be learned, I suppose, from any first album. I don't think
I think
you can't talk to any band who would say their first album is their favorite album 10 years down.
Because we were in a rush to have something. It's cool to say, I'm playing in a band, but can I listen something? No. So it's kind of, so it was kind of rush to say, okay, we need to have something to propose to, if you want to play a festival like we did in the festival. If you don't have anything to listen, it's kind of complicated. So it was the rush to have something to release.
Well, as I said, it was a fantastic release, but as you mentioned already, I don't know how much information I'm going to get out of you here now with regards to the new album, but are we talking 6 to 8 tracks? If you're talking around that, are we talking?
Normally it's going to be 6 tracks. Yeah, for around 40 minutes, I guess, for the all records.
And they're all written already?
Almost. Almost. 95%.
Okay.
Yeah. We should record the drums in October, and the rest of the instrument will be recorded in November. So I hope that in January, February, everything will be done with the mix and mastering. So we should release it around April, May, I guess. We want to go on tour next May. So maybe it could be cool to have the release at the same time, but we accept the fact that we will not have the vinyl, because with all the crisis, it's kind of complicated to have the vinyls very quickly. So I think we have to go on tour without the new record next year, because I think even if we finish at the end of the year, we will have to wait maybe 7-8 months. So it's complicated to have a proper full release with all the merch you want. It's kind of easy to have t-shirts, CDs, but for vinyl record it's really complicated, and we can't wait more than 1 year just to have records. So we will.
I mean, we all know the state of the vinyl industry at the moment, the delays and the backlogs.
It's really annoying,
crazy,
actually.
It is, For those purchasing and for the bands, I can only imagine.
Yeah, for everyone.
It's frustrating. But look, we can wait for the vinyl. It's just to hear something new will be a joy. I can assure you, Jean. I can't wait. I will take this opportunity now to play a track for everybody here, guys. This is the album that they have out at the moment, and The Raging Winds Do Blow from Where Mermaids Drown. I'm going to give you a track from it. This is Brian Poole, and see what you think. So there you have it, guys. That is Where Mermaids Drown and the track Brian Poole. That's the album. I can't say enough about it. If you love dramatic, atmospheric, emotive post-rock, this has to be in your collection, guys. Jean, I suppose, moving away from Where Mermaids Drown for a while, POST.LYON has taken on a life of its own in the last couple of years. Do you want to fill me in on what's happening there and what made you decide on getting involved in it and promoting through POST.LYON? What drove you to do it?
It start maybe 5, 6, or 7 years ago. I had this friend called David. He organized a lot of shows in Lyon, and he was leaving the city to live. Now he is living in Montreal, in Canada. And it just gave me few contacts because I started booking shows because it was very selfish, and it's always the same thing, because all the bands I booked, it's because I like the band. If I don't like a band, I'm sorry, I can't put the energy to promote a show with a band. I don't like the music. So at the beginning, it was just that. I think one of the first band I booked, it was Siberia from Spain. With a band called Maven.
Yes, two great bands.
In France, or maybe it was Australia from Spain too. One of the first gigs I organized, and it's just I think I'm someone that I'm very, very well organized. I'm very professional. When I'm involved in something and I'm really into it, I want to do it very professionally, even if it's not my job. And so it started like this. I organize more and more shows, and like it's a small world in post-rock, a lot of bands say, oh, okay, Lyon is a great place to play because they play in good condition with great local band. Because like I said earlier, we are very lucky to have, honestly, we have almost 15 bands that are very good bands, because sometimes when you have some locals, it's not very good. It's, you can see that it's not very good bands, or they just play sometimes just for fun. But even for non-professional bands in Lyon, all these 15 bands, I can mention Vesperine. Maybe you heard from them. We have the band called Lac. It's kind of mat rock band. We have Songe, we have Vague, we have so many great band lords. They're gonna be pissed at me if I forgot so many bands. But
we'll do some band name dropping at the end of the show. Actually, we keep a segment for bands.
Yeah, if you want to discover the Lyon scene, just watch all the gigs we organize. There are always at least 1 or 2 local bands that play. So it starts like this, and it grows, and now it's kind of one of my free activities, because I left my job last year because I was selling insurance. So I have earned a lot of money, but I was very sad doing that job, because I worked there for 10 years, and at the end it was very, very complicated to just wake up and go to job. And I said, okay, fuck it, let's focus on music for the moment. So I focus on POST.LYON, the band, and the new activity I created with THISWILL. And so now I'm focused a lot in those activities, but it's really complicated because after the pandemic, all the shows it's more complicated. Before the pandemic, honestly, all the shows we organized, it was not sold out, but even in the small shows, in small venues, we had at least 50, 60 people per show. So it was cool because we could pay the bands and maybe put a little bit of money aside. And since September last year, it's really complicated. We never lose money in shows, but this year we lose money on two shows, or we had at one show we stood like kings. On this show we had only 10 people that came, and we never had that.
That's
So
crazy. Like,
it's complicated because but I think it's like I talk with a lot of promoters, a lot of bigger venues here. It's the same for everyone. I don't know if it's proper to France or it's the same in other countries, but I think it's the same everywhere. So
even here in Cork, I suppose we'd be size-wise, city-wise, we're maybe smaller than Lyon, but the same thing. There's gigs, local gigs, you could get 40, 50 at one, and the following week you'd have 10, 12, 15.
Yeah, and it's kind of
it's hard to see. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's up to what. And finally, it's kind of complicated because I was almost to lose, the face of doing that. You say, okay, I put some energy. I think we are doing a great job of communication. We do great stories on Instagram. We try to do the best we can to promote a show, And when you arrive at the venue and you have 10 people, it's kind of a bummer for you, for the venue, because a lot of venue don't ask money. They just earn the money from the bar. And it's a bummer for the band because you say, okay, so I bring the band far from their place to play here and play in front of 10 people. It's really, really complicated. But it's complicated because like I left my job, I just put all the energy and maybe book more show than I used to. I think we are almost this year. I need to check because I think, sorry, I just checked on the website because I already booked a lot of shows just at the beginning. We had our last show a few days ago, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Since January, it's 10 shows from January to July. So that's a lot, and I think we have almost the same for the second part of the year through September. I can check that too. It's a lot, so I put a lot of energy to bring more bands, but finally I don't know if it's a good choice because too many shows everywhere with all the postponed shows for other genre in metal bands. We have a lot of shows. Lyon is a very cultural city. You have a lot of offers. If you want to see a gig, you can have a gig almost every night if you want to. So at some point, maybe it's the problematic here. It's people have less and less money, so they have to select the shows where they're going. But that's the deal. So POST.LYON still continue to grow. We want to maybe make a festival at some point, but it's very complicated to, it's a lot of money to create something and to have all the bands together. So finally, we are more working like we worked with Duhig Festival many years ago. They just give us the name of bands that play Duhig Festival, and we just contact many of them and say, okay, you want to tour around the Duhig Festival? We are more than open to host you. So finally, we have this small kind of festival, not on one day, but in a short period around the Duhig Festival. You have a lot of bands that come to Lyon to play because they know that there is a good scene, good condition to play. So we try to develop that part instead of creating another festival, it's kind of maybe too much festival now.
Like as you mentioned a while ago there, Jean, like you're in competition with so many other gigs that go on in Lyon because it is a big city. What musically, what's the trend in Lyon? Like, I mean, what are you competing with? Metal music, metal bands, bigger bands?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a real competition, but I think we have a huge metal scene. We have this huge kind of similar than POST.LYON association, but way bigger called Sounds Like Hell. They're organizing but bigger shows than mine because for big band usually all the God is an Astronaut shows, they organize that kind of shows. But I think there is a lot of things. We have a lot of hardcore music. and after that you have all the other kind of music, because it's kind of weird because people complain about the money, but they will not, all the show. Sorry for the car.
That's okay.
All the shows we organize, the prices goes from €8 to €15 usually. So it's kind of, I think it's not very expensive. €15 for 3 bands. It's kind of the price. But
That's small
finally,
money,
people
Sean.
will.
That's small money for anybody.
Of course,
like,
but
yeah.
for many people, they prefer to maybe pay very big show. We have very big, we had Rammstein playing in the Groupama Stadium, and the tickets were sold maybe 100, 150s, and people don't complain about it. Even for the Rolling Stone, even for all the mainstream artists. But that's kind of two different. It's two different worlds finally, and yeah, I don't have explanation. We just have to continue to explain to the people how it works. All the, a lot of venues in Lyon do that kind of shows, or you pay what you want.
Okay.
And I hate that idea, because people are used to say, okay, it's free. Okay, they just give maybe €5 just like that. And after they're going to drink maybe 5, 4, 6 beer at €8 each. Yeah. And I think we have to explain to the people that the band came from very far from Lyon. And when I explained to the, to be very clear, some bands that came from the States, I remember booked Ranges, that is a well-known band in the post-rock community. I think we paid them maybe €300, and they came from the United States. And when you explain that to the band, say, "Oh, you just paid them that kind of money?" Yes, and I just explained, look, we are just 50 people in the room. If you all give just €5, it's not enough to pay the venue, to pay the food, to pay the hotel, if we have to pay the hotel. And for many people, I think we have the responsibility to explain the reality of the DIY scene, because it's totally different, when I explained, even for the local bands, I just said to them, we can have free invitation for your friend, because if you bring 10 people but they don't pay, there is no sense to have the show. So it's really, really complicated, and it's a very complicated industry. And we try to grow as a organization, but we have to, honestly, you have to book bigger band. Like this year, we're gonna book A.H. Williams, the singer from very, very well known, and we have We Lost the Sea that's gonna be big. But we try more and more to open to other genre, to maybe try to connect all the scenes together, but it's really, really complicated.
Like, speaking to me, the bands that you mentioned, the A.A. Williams and everybody else, like, to me, that alone should sell out any place, obviously, because I'm living the scene and I'm enjoying the scene. But you go back to a very valid point there, Jean. Like you said, it's a DIY scene, and people just don't understand that. Like, they don't get it. They think a band is playing live. Fuck it, if I can get in for a $5, how bad? I mean, people need to look at the bigger picture here. Like ranges, like you mentioned ranges. How big a post-rock band do you need to get? And how can you tell somebody, for fuck's sake, come on, you have to put your hand in your pocket to see ranges? Like, it must frustrate you at the shows, at the events, when
But like I said, sometimes it's very, you lose all the hope and say, why am I doing this? What's the point of putting all that energy? And hopefully all the people that come, all the audience we have in Lyon, they give me and give us a lot of positive vibes, because we have a lot of people thanks us to doing that job. So thank you if you're watching that video. Thank you for doing that, because even a small thank you for the job, and you say, okay, I didn't do that for nothing. A lot of people really like that kind of music, and but I'm not I'm not, I don't know how to say that in English, unreplaceable. I don't know, you know.
Irreplaceable.
If tomorrow I stop booking bands, maybe for many months it's gonna be complicated for post-rock band, but at some point another guy will have the motivation to do it again. And that's the DIY scene. A lot of people do that for many years. At some point they just busted, they're just tired of doing that because they lose all the maybe the hope, and and it's just something that start again with another guy with the motivation, and we start again. But that's the deal. You don't have to wait to. You can't expect to have a lot of feedback, and you know, for me, it's just very cool to host all those bands I love. I can have very good moments with them when we have time, because when you organize a show, it's always the rush. They arrive, they do the sound check, then you eat, then they play, then they go to sleep. But we have a lot of good experiences all together, and it's our small part to help the community finally doing that. But
you must be proud, Jean, of what you've achieved with Post.LYON. Like, I mean, the bands that you've brought this year alone, I mean, they're big bands, like they're quality bands. And again, I was looking into some bands that you have coming up in October. I think you're actually playing yourselves in one of them. I can't. But I was looking to try and get to Lyon myself, and how I'd get there. I think I have to fly from Cork to Paris and train from Paris to Lyon, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you can have a cheap train from Paris. Maybe you can find some. I can give you some address after if you want, but you can have some tickets for maybe 10, 15 euros to come from Paris to Lyon. So it's possible. Yeah.
And even that's stuff that people should know. You know, it's not hard to get there. Like,
it's free. Come to Lyon.
Jesus, there you go. Like, what's stopping you, lads? A €10 train. Like, and
it's a very beautiful city. Besides all of that, it's very, very nice city. It's kind of, for me, it's similar to Paris, but it's smaller, so it's kind of less stressful, I guess. But it's very beautiful city. But you're more than welcome to come. I invite everyone that watching that video to come to Lyon.
It's worth a trip. I'm definitely planning it. I haven't said it to my wife yet, but I was online last night looking at flights, you know. So
don't come at this period because it's very too hot. It's very you're gonna burn. You have to come in October. It's very good.
October is the plan because my skin wouldn't last in August. Not a whole. I'd be burnt to a crisp, John. I would. But tell me, look, going back to the Post.LYON stuff, like you've been putting the shows up on Facebook as well, the live shows. Am I right? Has that been a success? Has there been feedback from that?
For all the show we announced?
Yeah. Do you play shows live on Facebook? Do any of the Post.LYON?
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
We did it. We did it last year during when it was complicated to make shows, to organize shows in France. I was very frustrating, and honestly I lost hope at this time because I had to cancel a lot of shows we already rebook again, and we thought the pandemic was done and it came back stronger. So at some point my girlfriend just kicked me in the ass and say, you have to do something, even if it's just with the locals band. And we kind of worked with Ronnie from Where Post-Rock Dwells. So we stream what we called the Post.LYON online festival, something like that.
That's right.
With, if I remember, it was 5 bands from Lyon. So we had Alpha du Centaure, Where Mermaids Drown, Lodz, Lac, and Quintessence. So 5 bands.
Like, that's an incredible lineup. I mean, the bands you just named out there, like, you know, it just boggles my mind still, you know, how you haven't hundreds attending these events.
We just finally, I contacted the Hard Rock Cafe. I worked with them for many years now, and they just ran the place for 2 days, and I think we did something that not many organization did before, because we stream something, but we stream something live.
Yes.
Or a total direct music, and 5 bands in a row. And between each session, we recorded interviews, and we did all the subtitles. The interviews were recorded earlier, but it was kind of a challenge, and it worked well. It was fun, but honestly, I didn't have as much as fun as when I organized real show with real audience.
Okay.
It was kind of weird, to just have the band playing alone in the empty venue. It was cool to share the music with people, and at the end we work with those guys from Analog Production. The guys that record everything with the beautiful camera.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's just the best business card for us, because we have an amazing live video you can watch on YouTube. For all the band, it's kind of very good video with decent sound. The sound is not perfect, but it was complicated to have the perfect sound, but it's decent. And I think for us, for example, for Where Mermaids Drown, it helps us to add the chance to play to Duhig Festival, because I think that the guys from Duhig say, okay, we know the band, but are they good in live? They just released an album. And I think the live sessions maybe helps us a lot, because I think it's a good live session.
I have no doubt it did help. Yeah, I have no doubt.
I think we had a lot of good energy on that, and I think it helped. So it was cool, but it's kind of difficult for me to imagine continue to do some shows with live stream. It's organizing a show. It's already a lot of stress on many points just to having a good sound in the venue. But if you have to think about the internet connection, the sound of the streaming, the video of the, it's a different job, and it's really complicated. So it's not the plan again to do something online. Maybe one day. And even for the guys that do the videos, they film from 1 p.m. to around 10. They were totally wasted at the end. They were dead, and they say no more ever.
don't ever contact me again.
It was cool because they had some fun too, but it's very complicated to do that live.
But again, we just come back to the same thing. There's so much work, hard work and dedication that goes into all of this, like whether it be playing live, setting up shows like this. I mean, it was a great idea. I loved watching it. I watched that day. I spent the day watching the bands.
Thank you.
It was something for people to see and watch, because, as we said, it was a shitty time. It was a really shitty time for everybody. So, thanks for doing it. That's all I can say.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. But for me, it's not there is a lot of people like you that say to me that, it's a lot of work, and I realize that sometimes it's a lot of work. But like, I love doing that. For me, I don't realize how much time I can't even count the time I pass on every shows I book, because you have all the negotiation with the band to find the venue, all the after, the promoting and everything. And I don't even realize how much time I spend doing that. I just love doing that right now. So I hope that the motivation will
continue,
will be there for a long time. Continue for a long time, I hope.
We all do, Jean. I tell you, we all do, because the work you do is incredible. It is like, and I just want people to know it and understand it. And that's why I'm so happy to have you on the show, because it's one thing to speak about a band and listen to the band and understand where they came from, but again, what goes on behind POST.LYON. And now I suppose we want to chat about the agency you recently started up there, and THISWILL. Yeah. Like, as if you didn't have enough to do, you decided to bring this on yourself.
Yeah. But at some point, I just think, maybe I should try to find a way to earn some money at some point, because the reality of organizing show, I can't earn any money. I can't take any money from that. I thought it was possible at some point, and since the end of the pandemic, it's my hopes around that idea that maybe I could try to keep maybe €100 per shows. For me, it's kind of too complicated because I can't how to say that, I can allow myself to don't give money to the local bands. I don't guarantee anything to the local bands. They all know that. I always said, okay, guys, there is no guarantee. If the night is a success, I will give you something. And usually I give between the worst night, it's at least €50. And the good nights, even the show, it's 100, 150, but they play home, so they don't have a lot of. But I think it's normal to, they help for the promotion of the show. So without them, the shows doesn't work. So yeah, I prefer to give the money to them for now. I don't have problem with money, so I can allow myself to distribute everything and sometimes keep things for me. With the bands for now, it's more the opposite. We are investing in the band because for the next release, we want to do something bigger. So even if we earn money with the merchandising and everything, when you record, when you pay for a clip, when you pay for everything, finally all the money
it disappears fast.
Very quick. It's very quick. So it was the idea to work. I realized that, like I said, a lot of bands are good playing music, but they are very, very bad for all the rest. They are very bad for the social media. They're very bad in communication. And as a promoter, I just realized that when I don't know a band, usually I listen to the music, of course, and then I watch. It's like when you meet someone for the first time, the first impression is important, and I think it's the same for many bands. When you watch the Facebook page, the Instagram, the Spotify, everything. When you have shitty things, I don't know. So for some band, it's kind of very dead, or it don't give a professional feeling about the band, and I think it's more important than they think about it. So it was the idea at the beginning to help in management and how to grow a project to go to some point, because for bigger bands, I can't help them after it's other work to have a very professional management, very big things and everything. So it was more to think about that. But finally, I have more demand concerning the booking things. And I have to say that it's really not good because I hate booking. It's fucking hell. Honestly, it's the worst job.
Yeah.
I don't. It's really complicated because even if it's a small community, booking is just sending mail and having no answers at all, and it's awful. Honestly, I can understand that some bands are totally broken trying to book tours because it's very, very frustrating, very hard, because with POST.LYON, I answer to every demands I have. If a band asks me to play, I will at least answer, no, sorry, I'm not interested. I'm not saying that I write a lot of big comments of the why, but every time I answer a band, every time they say, oh, just thank you to at least give me an answer, because there is nothing worse than just being in this kind of hope of having an answer at some point. You just send the mail, you say, okay, they will not answer now because they have a lot of demand. So you wait 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe 2 months, and you don't have any answers, and you still have the hope of.
I know.
I think it's not cool at all to not answering the band. And I totally understand that for many venues, it's kind of complicated to answer to everyone. But I think there is many solutions to find to just answer, no, sorry, not interesting. And
I know some people might say they're too busy or whatever, but it is common courtesy. If someone goes to the effort of giving you a press kit or giving you whatever they're giving you, I think it's only right. If you've read it, if you put your eyes to that, it's only right to reply. Even for something as simple as getting press kits myself, like for albums to review and stuff. Not that it's that many, but not that. But I reply to everybody. I'll always throw an answer back, and say either I can or I can't. It takes 2 minutes, and I can understand the
Yeah, and
frustration.
even it can take even less than 2 minutes. Just answer. I don't know. You just write a typical answer for band you don't want to book, and copy, paste it. And I think it's kind of now in my mail signature with THISWILL, I just put this small phrase, small sentence that say, please just give an answer even if it's a no. We're all human. It's kind of cool to just have an answer, and at least it helps us to move on and say, okay, this venue, it's not possible. Let's move on to another things. And yeah, but yeah, that's the job. So yeah, at the beginning, I really wanted to work on more management things, but I'm just front of the reality of the industry, because like I'm in a DIY scene. We're gonna talk about money. They don't have money to put in many things, so they don't have the money to pay someone to help them to grow. Even if I think it's a good way to earn money, because at some point you're gonna have the benefit of that. For many bands, they are focused, and it's normal. They are focused in their music first, and it's complicated to pay for other services. And management is very large, because you can't even, I work with the band called Besides from Poland, and it's kind of complicated. It's not because they pay me an amount every month for, we don't have, you can't really calculate the results of the work. It's not, I work for you, so now you sell more t-shirts. I think it's, communication and all those things. It's kind of a hard work of a long time to give a good image of your band, a professional one. And it's not because I work for you for a month that it's going to change everything. You have to work on that every time. So
exactly. They have to work at it too. It's not a case of just throwing everything at you and saying, make us work. They have to put the effort. But how many bands are you working with through this film?
So for the booking, it's kind of complicated, because it's kind of missions. I worked for the band Kokomo from Germany. I work with my
favorite all-time bands.
They're very good and very nice guys. And I helped very little of Divine, and it was a good dream. I helped them, and actually I work a lot for Besides from Poland, and a band from Lyon called the Lods. They're gonna release a very good album at the end of the year, so I work on that for the tour. But really, the booking area is very, very complicated, because I realized that all the bands are the same. If you take a very small band that no one knows, it's almost the same that a band that it's a little bit known in the scene, but not enough to be a band like God is an Astronaut. It was it was easier to work for Kokomo, for example, because it's kind of a very big band in Europe for that kind of music. But for all the rest, it's always almost the same. It's always the same fees, even if you're a bigger band, if you look the popularity. But there is kind of it's difficult to get through kind of I don't know if we can say that in English, but there is a roof, you can go through that. There is kind of a level you can go further than this, because it's the same for everyone. So it's again frustrating, because I realize that it's going to be very complicated to continue doing that for a long time, and expect living from that. Honestly, it's very, very complicated, because there is no money. So if you want to earn money booking, you have to book band that you sell 2,000 euros the shows, not 200. So that's the reality of it's a lot of work, and it's the dark side of the.
Yeah, it's a pity, because you're from speaking to you, like the love you have for the music and the scene and everything else is just blowing through the screen here. You're just so into it.
Thank you.
And I really hope people, step up and sort of give you the time and help like that you need, because the last thing I want to see is people like yourself, Jean, who burn out and just walk away from it all and say, fuck it, I've had enough. It'll be a big fucking hole.
I think at some point, one day it will happen for sure. One day, at least with POST.LYON, I will stop. I say that, and maybe I will not, but it's logical that at some point maybe I will be bored doing that, or maybe I will step back a little from the music community, because maybe one day we're with the band. I'm the youngest one, and I'm almost 36. And all the other guys are they have 41 to 45, 46.
Okay.
So we are kind of old. So we give all the chance to succeed with the band right now. But at some point it will be complicated. They all have kids. I'm the only one to don't have kids right now. So that's the reality. Maybe when the band will stop, if it stop, it's not totally it's clearly not on the table right now, but it's life. I realize that playing good music is not the difficult part in a band, because a lot of bands playing good music, but sticking together for a long time as a band, 4 people together without fighting, it's the most difficult part, I guess, for many bands to stay together. Playing music it's not the hardest part, because we all loving that, but the human part is more complicated, and for now it's perfect between us, but life is what it is. At some point,
but that's very well said. Yeah, that's very well said, Sean. I mean, the music comes naturally to you. The creativity side of it comes naturally to you. It's everything else that needs to be put around it to make it happen can fucking strain, can cause stress on everybody. Like, so
that's why we have a lot of there is a lot of bands only with 2 members now, or maybe solo project, because it's way easier.
That's right. Yeah, there's an awful lot of solo projects, so you're right. There's an awful lot. But let's hope you stick together for the next album. Anyway, give us an album number 2 before you decide on anything crazy.
Yeah, no, it's clearly not on the table. But yeah, I think like I said earlier, there is kind of a cycle. Like I can imagine that.
Yeah.
In many cities, we at some point we had an organization that promote a lot of shows, and they stopped. Mm-hmm. And maybe for a few years it could be complicated. But we had the problem actually in Bordeaux in France. There is the Bordeaux Reverb Club, similar than POST.LYON, but in Bordeaux, and they kind of they are at the end of the road for them. They are exhausted. They are. Maybe they lost hope organizing shows, so they probably stop a little bit. But I hope that at some point other people will just have the motivation to arrive and say, okay, I will continue the work did before, and
inject a new bit of energy into it. Like, exactly. Yeah,
of course, yeah.
And something, it happens everywhere. It's in our own city here. It's just part and parcel of the game, I think. Yeah,
that's life, I guess. We all have motivation for something, and some people keep the motivation for their whole life. Sometimes I'm kind of in admiration and kind of jealous. Yeah, because I'd love to be like that, but it's different for many people, I guess. But and it's not bad, even when I decided to quit my job, I was very good doing what I was doing in the company, but even if I was very good, they can replace me at some point. Say, okay, I did a great job, but I'm not there, and it works.
Yeah, there's somebody
the company
else
still there.
I know.
But yeah. So finally, it will be the same with POST.LYON. Maybe it will be different. It's going to be complicated to replace me because I'm very good, but I'm sure at some points. Yeah, even if I'm not here and POST.LYON died at some point, someone will just pop up from nowhere maybe and do the same job, maybe better. I don't know. So yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen for a while, Jean. Let's hope you keep.
No, not for now.
Keep at it for now.
I'm totally.
That's good. You're totally engrossed in it for now. Let's keep it like that. But you're right. Look, things do come in cycles, and it's an inevitability about it that it will happen at some stage. But for now, I think we should all just enjoy what we're experiencing through POST.LYON, through Where Mermaids Drown, and obviously wishing you well with THISWILL, the agency. I hope that
Thank
goes
you.
well. Now, before I let you go, I have 3 questions I want to ask. I have 3 session questions that I hope I sent you, didn't I? I think I did send them to a couple of weeks ago. So look, we'll kick off with question number 1. If you could do it into a recording studio and do a cover version of any track from any genre of music, what would it be?
It's so complicated. I thought about it a lot, but it's really complicated. Honestly, I think it will be a track, maybe Dustism from of This Will Destroy You.
Okay. Amazing how that was going to come up. Yeah, This Will Destroy You. We're going to get a say, weren't they?
Yeah. I think I'm going to have the same answer for the next question.
Well, let me go through the motions anyway. If you could experience playing live with any band, who would it be, I wonder?
This Will Destroy You for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's crazy because usually when I look a lot of interviews, I see a lot of people talking about dead bands. I don't know, Pink Floyd. I don't know for me, honestly, I never had this dream of playing with someone.
Okay.
It's more. I never had this, so just playing. I had a lot of fun playing just with my headphones and listening to This Will Destroy You and just hitting my drums and had some fun. So at some point, I think I'd love to replace Robbie that played the drums for them actually. So I don't know where the band is actually because they're kind of in a weird statement.
Yeah,
I think they are kind of split between the 2 guitarists, and that's a shame because this band is a lot of things for me.
They're an incredible band, John.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. At some point, people, or maybe not. I don't know.
Like they're digging bands out of graves nearly at this stage to get bands back together again. So something will happen. Something has to happen.
Yeah. Cross fingers.
A new question. Actually, I might have given you this, but my 3rd question is going to be: what was the last album you listened to before you came on this evening? What was the last album you listened to?
Oh, today. Let me check on Spotify what I was listening to.
Yeah, do so.
Today I listened Tides of Man. I listened to the last album they made. Every Nothing.
Every Nothing. Great album. A great album. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good guys. I booked them with Tides from Nebula a few years ago, and it was a blast. It was very, very... That's funny to have a band that played emo music with a singer and became a total instrumental band. And if you go on I'm on their Spotify account, all the most listening tracks are from the past. It's almost 6 million
are you serious?
Streaming on the and it's clearly not the same type of music they play right now.
No.
But that's funny.
That's interesting. No, that's interesting. And again, you said the 2 of them played together in Lyon, did it? Tides of Man and Tides from Nebula.
Yeah, it was the kind of Tides tour.
Was that around 2018? Was it? Did they both play Arctangent that year? I saw both of them.
Let me check. It was in 2019.
2019. Yeah, that's right. I saw the 2 of them actually in Arctangent. They were amazing. Yeah, amazing bands.
Both amazing bands. Honestly, Tides from Nebula, the last album is amazing too. So very different. Very 2 different bands, but very, very good. Yeah, very different. Yeah.
Jean-Sébastien, come here. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank you for giving me your time.
Welcome.
You're an amazing guy. Like you have.
Thank you for having me.
No bother at all. Anytime. Like your knowledge of the industry, and your knowledge with the bands and everything about it is second to none. So it was great to get inside your mind there for a while and understand what goes on in there. I wish you well. I can't wait to hear the new album from Where Mermaids Drown. And I obviously wish you all the best with POST.LYON. And I hope to maybe get down to you maybe in October. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I just check all the shows. If you want to come in October, Shiloh, you can't miss them.
That's the one I want to go to.
I think they're going to play in the UK. Yeah, Shiloh is good, and yeah, it will depend if you want to stay a little bit longer. If you stay more than 2 weeks, you can
No
have many
chance.
shows because we have Conjurer. It's more, but yeah, you have Will of the Sea on November if you want to.
Focus, yeah. We'll have to have a talk off here. We'll have to sort something
Yeah.
out there, yeah.
Yeah, I will help you to find the cheapest train.
Please do, yeah. And look, Jean, I want to also thank you for, as I said, look, for everything you've done. And THISWILL agency, I hope that all works out well for you as well. I mean, you're doing so much for the scene. You know, it needs to be noticed. That's it, man.
Bands are free to contact me if they want more information about the work I do for management and even for booking. It's kind of close. It will depend on the bands for booking because it's only if I really know the band, if they are a little bit known, but for very unknown band, it's kind of too complicated to do the job because you don't have answer because people don't know them. But yeah, feel free to ask. At least it costs nothing to have a talk about
there you go.
all the services.
And they're guaranteed a reply. And they're guaranteed a reply.
Yeah, you can send any mail, even in Post.LYON. At least I will reply no, but in a gently way. So,
Jean-Sébastien, thanks a million. We catch up soon.
Thank you.
There you go, guys. That's
Jean-Sébastien.
So you're welcome. Jean-Sébastien from Where Mermaids Drown, from Post.LYON and THISWILL agency. What a guy. Thanks everybody else for tuning in. I hope to see you all again in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks to Richie from the Metal Stop podcast, who always edits and produces the show. So until next time, take care, guys.